Very good morning and welcome to Smart Men's Business. I'm Andrew Barije. It's exactly 5 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. and today is the 11th of October, just 2 days after the 60th Independence Day celebrations that's in Uganda. So that's quite very remarkable. And of course, I officially welcome you to this particular segment of Smart Men's Business News Recap as we go through the day's previous news stories, just in case you didn't watch. And of course, you start up your morning to refresh yourself with what really transpired the night before. And of course, starting with the news recap today, we're going to start as the president of Uganda okays the importation of rice from Tanzania, since Tanzania is one of the nations which Uganda exports to the product. So let's have the details of this particular story, and I'll be returning back with more highlights.
The Ugandans wanted me to stop Tanzanian rice. Please, I will not do that. If the Tanzanians are growing rice more cheaply, let them grow it and you buy from them. And I was told of some attempts to block rice from Tanzania in order to protect the inefficient rice growers of Uganda. I could not accept such blindness. Why, first of all, punish Ugandans to consume expensive rice while Tanzanian brothers can produce cheaper rice? The other blindness is that you should remember that if you block Tanzanian rice, Tanzania will also block something else from Uganda. Where then is the future of prosperity for our region?
Recent calls for the government to reconsider a strategy encouraging more rice imports from Uganda were made by the rice producers and traders who claimed Tanzanian rice was driving them out of business due to its low price. In this appeal, the Ugandan Rice Association expressed an alarm over the ongoing erosion, the East African Common External Tariff policies, and the shift towards greater rice importation. Several stakeholders have also expressed their thoughts on the current state of the rice industry.
First of all, the rice growers in Uganda must survive. So that protection must be provided, and we shall ensure we provide that.
A lot of rice is coming in from Tanzania. The good rice, the grade 1 rice, but also the grade 3 or 4 rice is coming in without any controls. That means that the people who have invested in the rice business cannot find enough business for them to grow, because they are being overtaken by the cheap broken rice from Tanzania. So we need to look for a way to balance, because if I have an industry that I'm trying, a homegrown industry that I'm trying to take off the ground, and then external imports come in and overtake me, my industry will collapse.
However, the Member of Parliament for Kabweri County, which is one of Uganda's rice-growing districts in Kibuku district, warned the farmers about the quality of rice they produce.
Quality of our rice is rice mixed with stones. It is rice mixed in terms of variety. So it is better that there is a proper training on how we sort the rice, how we dry the rice, and machinery to ensure that all of the rice that is going to be exported is sorted. Because we have one comparative advantage, that the super rice from Uganda is almost the best type of variety in the whole world, the best rice. So if we could take that niche and produce a lot of super rice of Uganda, it would sell even a higher price than any other rice.
The Uganda Revenue Authority removed import taxes on all rice from Tanzania on July 27, 2022, prior to the abolition. The former tariff on these products was $47.9 per ton of rice. In a letter from July 29 that was released by Mr. Alexander Rubanda, Assistant Commissioner for Trade at the Uganda Revenue Authority, announced this tax exemption.
Ugandan rice farmers have for long complained about the excessive importation of rice from Tanzania, and a number of interested parties have urged President Museveni to halt the importation of Tanzanian rice in order to safeguard the local interests, that's of the farmers in particular. And during the speech of the independence towards Ugandans in Kololo, making the 60th anniversary of the country's independence, he declared that he would not ban rice imports because Tanzania is one of the countries where Uganda exports its products. Okay, away from that, let's head to entrepreneurial integration as we look at how entrepreneurs are using technology to create impact. I'll be returning with the highlight.
To promote aggressively domestic and international investments in social enterprises that have proven adept at creating long-lasting and significant social impacts, Uganda is working with other African nations, NGOs, and job creation agencies to support open doors for collaboration and create employment opportunities. Brian Mangeni, CEO of Eastern Rising, expanded on this in an exclusive interview.
So, promoting discussion about social enterprise, bringing them in the same room with capital that is coming from outside Uganda that has probably not been affected by the inflation rates that we are suffering with, getting them to join up with enterprises outside Uganda, getting them opportunities to export outside Uganda. There is so much that will be discussed on that day that can go a long way in helping them. Also, just like you've heard from other speakers who understand social enterprise quite well, employment, gainful employment, is one of the major SDGs that are going to be addressed through social enterprise promotion.
In order for a business to develop and grow, innovation is essential, and entrepreneurs should take this into account, according to Sharon Kakai, the Village Uganda's communications and marketing lead.
On whether we want to scale, that's a different issue, but scaling should be it, because then when you scale, you're able to create job opportunities, you're able to fight gender disparities, and you're able to level, our societal challenges altogether.
Uganda will achieve greater economic development effect results through ongoing support of entrepreneurs and young innovators.
The potential of youth is indeed a key for the future of Uganda. And Kampala Impact Day contributes to this goal. So let me congratulate OVO and Einstein Rising with this initiative. And I strongly encourage entrepreneurs to participate in the event, and as well as other development stakeholders, to provide the much needed support.
The goal of the Kampala Impact Day is to examine possibilities and work together to have a lasting social impact. This will make it possible to create an economically and socially integrated future.
Entrepreneurs are utilizing technology that's technology innovations and socio-economic business projects to have a big impact on both large and small-scale firms, which is advancing of the business world at large. Of course, definitely as the globe is transitioning into the IT revolution, and of course, you realize that it's very necessary for the entrepreneurs to adapt these ideas to ensure business growth and prosperity. The Kampala Impact Day was organized by the Ugandan government in collaboration with the Belgian government. That's through Einstein Rising, that's the Innovation Village, GIZ and OVO. It aims to create a future that is worth living with social integrations, that's and economics. All right, and away from that, let's say to the Electricity Regulatory Agency as we examine its obligation regarding why it was established. The details.
According to Electricity Regulatory Authority, there were changes in the generating mix during the previous quarter, with more electricity coming from expensive sources, which resulted in an overall cost rise for generators by 98%. There was also an increase in maintenance and operation costs for UETCL and UMEME at 28% and 25%, despite the then unfavorable changes in macroeconomic fundamentals, which led to an increase in the annual rate electricity supply revenue requirements by 146.5 billion shillings. Electricity tariffs were maintained during the third quarter, that is from July to September, as a result of the stakeholder engagements with the Ministry of Energy and Uganda Manufacturers Association. As the United States dollar continues to strengthen against the Ugandan shilling from $3,564 used in determining the 22 annual base tariffs to $3,810 as of August 31st, 2022. Inflation increased to above 10% as the shilling depreciated by 6.92%. Macroeconomic information was used by ERA to estimate the 2022 base tariffs for the fourth quarter. According to this data, local fuel costs have climbed by around 50%, while the price of foreign oil has increased by 46.47%. According to the data at the Electricity Regulatory Authority, home electricity customers spent 747.5 shillings kilowatt per hour during the third quarter, while business users paid 580 shillings, medium and big enterprises paid 439 shillings and 3,055 shillings respectively, while extra-large industries paid 300.2 per kilowatt hour. A weighted average of 460 per kilowatt hour was obtained by adding the 370 paid by the street lighting to the total. Large enterprises utilize 24% of total electricity, whereas the extra-large industries use 28%. Domestic users, or 1.7 million users, utilize 21% of all power produced, while medium industries at 16% and commercial at 11%.
Electricity Regulatory Authority was established and obligated to increase the power prices for both residential and business use. The quarterly adjustments to electricity rates are made in response to exchanges, that's in inflation, exchange rate fluctuations, fuel prices, other elements of energy mix, and of course any added expenses, and that's regarding the purpose of the Electricity Regulatory Authority. And as we wind up the recap, let's take a look at the cargo transportation business as we get to understand how it works and what are the advantages and the solutions to the challenges that are faced by the people that are involved into the sector. Let's have the details.
A clearing and forwarding agency offers a supportive trading environment to small and medium-sized importers and exporters in order to operate a streamlined, efficient and successful cargo consolidation process. Additionally, the Uganda Revenue Authority guarantees cargo's customs clearance.
In Uganda, when we are importing goods, we consider the freight up to Mombasa. So, for those that are importing goods via the sea, we shall look at the cost they purchased an item, the insurance cover that was given to the item, and the freight that was given to the item. All those added together plus other adjustments constitute what we call the customs value of goods. If goods are being transported by air, we look at the cost and insurance. There are scenarios when traders do not provide the insurance aspect. So we get the cost and compute the insurance by subjecting it to 1%. So that we can arrive at the insurance.
After the documentation process is finished, the transport chain enters. Working on behalf of the client is the clearing agency. Different participants in the chain, such as transporters and consolidators, describe the cargo to the taxman for the collective valuation. Additionally, URA levies various taxes in accordancy.
Is that from the consolidators who load the containers in the exporting country, they declare the goods using also an agent. And after declaring the goods go to sea by vessel through shipping lines. Then from the shipping line, they will still get to be received by a port, what we call the port of destination. Then from the port of destination, then we will now hire a transporter. Of course, there are documentation by KPN, KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority, to make sure these goods are not left in Kenya or Tanzania. Then we will now hand over to the transporter, and then the transporter will hand over to Uganda Revenue Authority. Uganda Revenue Authority will do the customs work, and from the customs work, then the client has paid, if the importer has paid all the taxes as valued, then he will take the goods for consumption and start saving.
When we are computing taxes on importation, there are basically like 3 taxes that are charged. We have the import duty. The import duty ranges from 0% to 60%. 0% is basically for the raw materials. 10% is for the semi-finished goods, or what we call the intermediary goods. Then 25% is for finished goods. So if you import an item that is finished, you are charged 25%. However, there are some items whose import duty is 35%. Now, 35% these include perishable items like meat, like oranges, like grapes. These carry 35%. Why? Because the same goods that are imported can actually be manufactured or produced in Uganda. So the 35% is another band that was introduced to ensure that people consume more of Ugandan products.
The ultimate aim of logistics is to guarantee that consumers receive their orders on time and defect-free. Logistics audit checklists are used by the supply chain managers to examine order processing, storage methods, and material handling in order to accomplish this purpose. In a way, it's crucial that
business perspective, the importance of the logistics company or logistics firm are, 1, the transport itself, that we move goods from A to B. Then 2, we do also procurement, especially for the business people that can't move or don't know. We help them to procure. Then we advise, where one would call it consultation. Sometimes a businessman wants to enter a certain industry or wants to sell certain products and they don't know where to start. So they come and ask you, I have my money, but I don't know how to go about this. So with our experience or with the experience of the firm, we can offer advice, advise a business person. Besides the advice, we also link the businessman and the supplier. Most of the times, because of we look at now as the effects of the lockdown, COVID-19 happened, and then the restrictions on movement of the business people. So business has to go on. And remember, we are doing cross-border businesses. We have to transact, we have to get to know the guys that we buy from. So we help them to identify the right people to offer them the services they want or offer them the products that they need.
We are committed to continuously seeking opportunities which will enable us to spread our wings further and undertake cargo movement throughout.
And that's regarding the cargo transportation industry, as Uganda's cargo transportation industry has developed that steadily to reach its current level. The Uganda Revenue Authority has offered importers and exporters with guidance to how the responsibilities they ought to offer related to the transportation of commodities, mostly those that can be produced that's locally in Uganda. Okay, and that's it for the recap. If you just joined us, just to give you a highlight of where we started from, as President Yoweri Museveni okays that's importation of rice from Tanzania, and of course as Ugandan rice farmers for long complained about the excessive importation that's of rice from Tanzania, which led to quite excess competition right there. And also we looked at entrepreneur integration as we look at how entrepreneurs are using technology to create impact into the country. And we came to the obligation of the Electricity Regulatory Authority, why it was established, and also in ways it fixes the prices of energy. And finally, about the cargo transportation, as we understand the journey of this particular industry to where it has reached to this current level. And that's it for the news breakup this morning. Let's get into a short commercial break. I shall be returning with the